You can use your Active Directory authentication profiles inside of Ignition by going into the security sections under user roles and then clicking on the create new user source. And you can see we have 3 at the top here that are all AD. Right, the first one, Active Directory, is just straight Active Directory using their LDAP. We're going to select that one for now and then hit next. And I'm going to call this guy AD off. And again, you can set a failover source, which I highly recommend, to something that is an internal, just in case the Active Directory authentication profile isn't reachable. If you scroll down a little bit here, you'll see that there are several different properties available for Active Directory. Right, so the most important one here at the top is your domain. So you would do something like mycompany.com, supercorp.local, whatever your domain is, and you'll have to get all this information from your IT guys if you don't already have it. The gateway username to log into Active Directory, so not a user that's going to log into Ignition, but rather the username that allows a piece of software to connect to Active Directory. You have a primary domain controller host and port that again you can get from your IT department, and optionally a secondary. We also have the SSO enable and SSO domain. Right? That's for using single sign-on, and what the single sign-on does is it allows your Ignition client to log in using whatever credentials your operator logged into the Windows computer with. Right? And of course this only works for a Windows computer because it's Active Directory, but you also have to have that option enabled in the project itself, which we'll take a look at in just a bit. Right? And if you're using that, you have to have an SSO domain too. Now, in addition to all this information for connecting to Active Directory, we also have several advanced properties here. Right? So if we scroll down a little bit, then you can see that we can search through LDAP using many different filters. So we can have username prefix or suffix. The automatic suffix is the @ whatever your domain name is. That's usually set. You can have a user search base or a user search filter or list out, say members of or role name attributes. All this information in here, and you can get a lot more information again from your IT department. But one of the things that we recommend is probably not everyone inside of your Active Directory structure is going to be using Ignition, so we recommend creating a group that's called maybe Ignition users or something like that, and having that be a part of your search base. All right, so I'm going to close that, and once you have all this information in here and you click create new user source, then it will go and connect to Active Directory. Now I don't have anything to connect to right now, but if I did, I would just hit that button and it'll take us back to the user's role screen, and then you would have your third user source here. And you can click on the manage users to go and see the list of all of the users that it pulled from there. Now the last thing I wanted to talk about was that single sign-on option, and in order to get to that, we're going to go to the designer here, and then you need to go to project and then properties. Then all we need to do is go under client and then login. And then you can see that there's this enable SSO login checkbox. All we have to do is check that. And this is on a per project basis again. Right? So you set it up once in the Active Directory profile, and then again for each project that you want to use this single sign-on.